Chosen one. The 26th of August is your rise, not just another day circled on the calendar, but the moment heaven has been arranging behind the scenes for longer than you realize. Please hear me when I say this. The 26th of August is not random. It is not just a date. It is a divine landmark, a spiritual checkpoint written into eternity with your name engraved into it. If you've been wondering when the fog will finally lift, when the doors that refuse to budge will swing wide open, when heaven will make a public declaration in your favor, it's now. It's here. It's the 26th of August, and it's finally your rise. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this message, because every word you're about to hear is not just encouragement, it's activation. Something in your atmosphere is shifting as you receive this. I believe there are moments in time when God aligns everything, your preparation, your patience, your prayers with the exact second your destiny is scheduled to open. The 26th of August is one of those moments. It's the day the spiritual weight you've been carrying transforms into visible elevation. I want you to do more than just listen. I want you to participate. Speak life in the comments. Encourage your own rise. Declare your faith out loud. Don't just agree silently. Put your agreement into the atmosphere where heaven can hear it. And if you've been waiting for a sign to release your deepest, most unapologetic wish into the universe, now is the time. This is your cue. This is your portal. Write your warmest, boldest wish in the comments and type the number 999 alongside it. Why 999? Because in the language of spiritual timing, 999 represents closure of the old and the ignition of the new. When you type it during a divine shift, you're not just sending out words, you're making an energetic declaration. You're telling the heavens, I'm ready, I agree, I align. Wishes typed in moments like this don't just drift into the air and fade, they move, they strike, they activate a chain of divine responses that electrify your timeline. This is not just a feel-good ritual, this is an act of prophetic participation. The window is open now, and it won't stay open forever. You don't have to understand all the mechanics to step through it. You only have to believe. And before we go deeper, I want to pause and say thank you to every single one of you who has been walking this journey with me. To those who have chosen to support through the Super Thanks feature here on YouTube, know that your generosity fuels this mission. It helps us reach more people, share more hope, and build this community into a global movement of chosen ones rising together. Whether you've donated or not, my gratitude for you is unshakable. Just your presence here, your time, your energy, and your prayers. These are treasures to me. Now, chosen one, take a breath, focus your spirit, and let's step together into the revelation of why the 26th of August is the day heaven marked for your rise. Because once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. And once you step into it, there's no going back. God's chosen ones. The 26th of August is the day you rise. Heaven has declared it. Chosen one. Can you feel it? The signs may have seemed quiet, almost unremarkable to the untrained eye, but they have been consistent. The subtle nudges that stirred your spirit, the whispers in your prayer time, the delays that left you questioning, the doors that stayed locked, no matter how hard you knocked. Have you ever wondered why no amount of effort could force those doors open? Every single no you received was never God turning you away. It was God turning you toward. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You weren't late. You were being held in place. like an arrow pulled back in a bow, waiting for the exact second when the shot would align perfectly with your destiny. That second, chosen one, is now, and that shot is about to send you into a realm you've only glimpsed in your spirit. This waiting was never a punishment. It was a divine strategy. Behind the veil, God was forming something so massive, so irreversible, that it could not be revealed before its appointed time. Think about Joseph in Genesis 41-41, when Pharaoh said to him, "I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt." Joseph wasn't late to his destiny. He was stationed in preparation, just like him. You weren't stuck, you were stationed. Heaven was orchestrating every detail, down to the exact second. Not a heartbeat earlier, not a breath too late. And now, the 26th of August is that divinely marked second. This is not just a date on a calendar, it is heaven's signal for your emergence. You've been overlooked, underestimated, and misunderstood. You've sat at tables where they didn't recognize your worth. You've walked through seasons where it felt like you were invisible, as if your very presence was fading into the background. And yet, you endured, not because you were fragile, but because you were fortified. You endured because you are chosen. God could have placed this mantle on anyone, but He placed it on you. Why? Because, like David before facing Goliath, 1 Samuel 17:45, you've been in the hidden fields, mastering your aim, cultivating your courage, and learning how to carry an anointing the world could never take credit for. He gave you the oil to heal, the insight to discern, the resilience to stand when others collapsed, the prophetic instincts to move without full visibility, and the unshakable hunger to press forward when there was no tangible proof that anything was working. Can you see it now? This rise isn't just happening to you, it's happening through you. Think of Oprah Winfrey, who was told early in her career she was unfit for television. Her rise didn't just benefit her, it opened doors for millions. Just as her platform became a beacon for others, your breakthrough will be a light. Many will follow. The very audience that watched you wrestle in the dark is about to watch you soar in the light. They won't be able to explain it. They won't be able to label it, but they will be forced to respect it. As Isaiah 60:1 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is not a mild recovery. This isn't you getting back a fraction of what you lost. It's not a sentimental return to the good old days. This is a complete elevation into a new dimension, a reality where your name is associated with impact, where your voice echoes across nations, where your value is no longer hidden in shadows, but displayed in the open for all to see. Honor and reward. Your rise is celestial in nature. It will defy logic. As when Nelson Mandela walked out of prison after 27 years and stepped straight into the presidency of South Africa, it will bypass the permission of systems that once ignored you, just as Rosa Parks' simple act of defiance shifted the course of civil rights. It is coming like a wave, one you cannot stop, and one no one can block. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds you, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." End footnote. This moment is heaven's doing, not man's approval. It's your Esther 4:14 moment. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Chosen one. Have you ever realized that what you thought was delay was actually God hiding you until the spotlight was ready. Have you considered that the whispers you heard were not doubts, but confirmations? Have you dared to believe that this, the 26th of August, is not just another sunrise, but the unveiling of the chapter your entire life has been leading to? This rise is not small, and it is not temporary. Just as Elon Musk faced ridicule before launching rockets into space, just as Abraham Lincoln faced countless defeats before leading a nation, your rise will rewrite the narrative. And when it happens, Psalm 118-23 will ring true in your spirit. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Because chosen one, this isn't just a comeback. This is your ascension, and it is unstoppable. Chosen one. Do you realize you're not just walking into a new chapter? You're stepping into the very moment heaven wrote into your story before you were even born. This is not simply a better season, it is your ordained moment. You might not feel ready, but readiness is not measured by how confident you feel. It's measured by what God has already built inside you, and that building happened in silence, in seasons of isolation, in moments of deep frustration when it seemed like nothing was moving. Have you ever wondered why it had to be so lonely, so hidden? Because the preparation for greatness often happens where no one is watching. Just as David was anointed king in a quiet gathering before ever stepping into the palace, 1 Samuel 16:13, your training ground was unseen, but your coronation will be public. The rise does not need your permission. It only requires your alignment. And right now, you are more aligned with heaven's timing than you have ever been. Every battle you fought behind closed doors, every tear that slipped from your eyes when nobody noticed, every sacrifice you made without applause, all of it has been collected like precious seeds buried deep beneath the soil of your life. Seeds don't make noise while they grow, but when the time comes, they break the ground without asking permission. And now, chosen one, the ground is breaking. Your name is pushing through. Your identity is shifting. Think of Malala Yousafzai, hidden in obscurity, facing threats and danger. Yet her voice rose from the shadows to the world stage. In the same way, what heaven has been cultivating in you is about to be seen by all. The 26th of August will not be just another square on the calendar. It will become a divine reference point in your life, the date you'll look back on and say, "From here, everything changed." Do you feel it? There is a spiritual heat surrounding you right now. Most people around you won't recognize it, but your spirit knows it's there. That pressure you've been feeling, it's not punishment, it's proof. It's the sign of something enlarging within you, a stretching of your spiritual capacity. Isaiah 54:2 says, "Enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your tent curtains wide. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords. Strengthen your stakes." That's exactly what's happening. Your influence, your authority, your reach is expanding. You are not just being lifted, you are being redefined. You're becoming a force in the unseen realm. Your very presence now activates dimensions that have been dormant for years. This is why the warfare intensified before this moment. Have you ever asked yourself why the attacks felt so personal? Because the enemy knew before you did that your rise would disrupt the generational cycles that have kept your bloodline captive, just as Harriet Tubman's escape threatened the very system of slavery. Your breakthrough is threatening the spiritual systems that once confined your family. That's why hell came for you so hard. But here's the truth. You didn't collapse. You didn't forfeit. You're still standing. And heaven has declared, now they are ready. On this, the 26th of August, is not about small wins or partial progress. It's about irreversible positioning. From this day forward, there will be assignments you cannot take on, not because they're wrong, but because they're too small for who you've become. There will be conversations you can't sit in, not because you've grown arrogant, but because your spirit no longer fits in the confines of old mentalities. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone. The new is here." You've crossed a line in the spirit that cannot be uncrossed. And yes, certain people will no longer understand you, but is that really a loss? Or is it a sign you've outgrown their vision of you? Just as Albert Einstein's theories were misunderstood by many of his peers before the world caught up, your evolution will confuse some and inspire others. Matthew 5 Caters reminds you, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. You cannot dim yourself to fit in where you no longer belong. So, chosen one, have you recognized yet that this moment is not an accident? That every pain, every delay, every hidden season was not wasted? That this day, the 26th of August, is the very moment where the heavens and the earth agree. You rise now, and you rise forever, chosen one. Do you understand what's truly happening right now? You are not just walking away from old habits or familiar patterns. You are stepping out of entire cycles that once kept you bound. And you're not just stepping into better circumstances. You are stepping into supernatural cycles of divine favor. For years, you may have tried to prove yourself, striving to show your worth to those who couldn't see it. But that season is over. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are the proof. You are living evidence that God fulfills His promises. Psalm 126, dos declares. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. That's what's about to be said about you. You're not begging for a seat at the table anymore now. You're being invited into rooms you didn't even know existed. Can you imagine walking into spaces where your name has already been discussed in honor before you even arrive? This is not wishful thinking. This is not emotional hype. This is your confirmation. This is your moment. And what's coming will not crawl toward you slowly. It will come quickly, with royal authority and unstoppable momentum. Think of Meghan Markle, who went from relative obscurity to the global stage in a short span of time, not because she begged for position, but because destiny opened a door she didn't even see coming. That's the kind of acceleration the 26th of August will carry for you. Every hidden prayer you've whispered in the dark, every unnoticed effort you've given when nobody clapped, every tear that hit your pillow in the midnight hours, every sleepless night where you battled doubt, all of it has been accounted for. The heavens are no longer silent over your life. And let me tell you a truth you might have missed. The silence was never God's absence. It was the sound of construction. Just as an architect works behind the scenes before unveiling a masterpiece, God was building your rise in private so it could be revealed with undeniable power. And now, chosen one. It begins. The 26th of August is not waiting for you to feel ready. Destiny rarely asks if you're comfortable. It simply calls you forward. This rise is not waiting for a system to approve you. It's not tied to your paycheck. It's not dependent on what you've always known. This is a rise that rewrites rules, bipas as gatas, and breaks the locks that once held you out. For too long, you've measured your growth by what others allowed you to touch. No more. The 26th of August is about divine access and unfiltered favor. Proverbs 18:16. A gift opens the way and ushers the giver into the presence of the great. That's exactly what's about to happen, not because of human approval, but because of heavenly assignment. You've been assigned to this rise. And nothing, no deadline, no opposition, no shortage, no fear can block it. Does that reality stir something inside you? This might not look dramatic at first glance. You may not wake up on the 26th of August with fireworks outside your window or choirs of angels filling the air with song. But don't be deceived by the lack of spectacle. The supernatural rarely announces itself with fanfare. There is a vibration forming around your name even now. People you've never met are being drawn to your voice. Just as Steve Jobs attracted world-class talent to a vision that existed only in his mind before Apple became a reality, situations are quietly aligning to deliver you news that will shift the course of your journey. Meetings are being arranged in places you didn't even know existed, in rooms you never requested to enter. Systems are bending, rules are being rewritten, and positions are opening, all to make space for you. Exodus 14. 14 reminds you, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. You were not designed to chase after human approval like a currency. You were designed to carry presence, the kind of presence that shifts atmospheres the moment you walk in. And now, chosen one, your presence is becoming undeniable, just as Mother Teresa carried an influence that transcended titles, positions, and politics. You are stepping into a season where your very existence will speak louder than any resume or introduction. This is why the 26th of August will be the moment you realize you didn't just arrive, you were sent, chosen one. You've already outgrown the place you've been. Can you feel it? The walls that once contained you no longer fit. The ceilings that once felt high now feel paper, thin. This is not just about moving forward at a steady pace. This is about rising up in one unstoppable surge. It's not a horizontal shuffle into better days. This is a vertical leap into destiny itself. This is a spiritual promotion, one that no earthly institution can grant and no human hand can revoke. What others may labor for a decade to achieve, you will accomplish in a fraction of the time, because the wind at your back is not natural, it is supernatural. Acts 2:2 describes it perfectly. Suddenly a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. That wind is what's propelling you now. There is fire in your foundation, clarity in your calling. And on the 26th of August, the old limitations that chained you will collapse under the sheer weight of your readiness. The universe has already heard your cry, and heaven has answered. The delay is over. You are not standing at the edge, peering into the distance. You are already standing in the very moment you once prayed for. Think about J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. She didn't just reach the edge of her dreams, she stepped into them. Likewise, what you feared would never happen is already being prepared for delivery into your life. This is the moment to stop doubting the promises God has made. This is the hour to recognize that you have become the version of yourself your future has been waiting to meet. This is your alignment. This is your rise. And it's more than a rise. It's a complete reset of identity. You are not who you were last year. You are not who you were last month. And most importantly, you are not who you were yesterday. The 26th of August is not simply marking the passage of time, it is marking your transformation. Romans 12:2 reminds us, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's exactly what's been happening in your mind. Your spirit, your very essence has been renewed for this moment. In the unseen realm, something massive is being finalized over you. There is a document in the courts of heaven with your name on it. and it is being signed with irreversible authority. Heaven has cleared the runway for your takeoff. This is not a rehearsal. This is not just more preparation. This is execution. Chosen one, the rising begins now. What's coming for you is nothing short of a supernatural spectacle, like the moment Wilma Rudolph, once told she would never walk again, ran to win Olympic gold. Your elevation will silence every doubt and surpass every limitation. People will try to explain it, but they won't have the vocabulary. They will look at your rise and stumble over their words, unable to label it, yet fully aware that something greater than human effort has touched your life. They won't be able to deny it, and neither will you. You'll know in your bones that this is not the result of effort alone, but of obedience, faith, and divine orchestration. Isaías 55:11 declares, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire." That is what's unfolding, not just something you built, but something you became. Your rise is proof of spiritual maturity. You were tested in the dark seasons when no one applauded. And now you will be trusted in the light where everyone can see. Everything that once tried to delay you is now being reversed. Every attack that tried to silence your voice has become evidence that your voice carries thunder. Think of Winston Churchill, who faced political defeat after defeat. Before leading his nation through its darkest hour, his prior failures became proof of his resilience. In the same way, every loss in your life that once looked like defeat has been transformed into a seed for public reward. Yksi Peter 5:10 promises. And the God of all grace, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm and steadfast. End of 7. Chosen one. You are not rising into an ordinary season. You are rising into the kind of life you once only dreamed about. And here's the revelation. The dream was never just fantasy. It was prophecy. It was spiritual intelligence disguised as imagination. What you thought were fleeting glimpses were actually previews of your future reality. And now, you're not just glimpsing it, you're walking into the full version. You are proof that what God speaks, He completes. Chosen one. Your name is already in conversations you haven't even been invited to yet. Can you grasp that? You've been spoken about in rooms where the floor has never felt your footsteps. You've been considered and honored in circles. Your physical body hasn't entered yet. Your spirit has already arrived. You are present in those places energetically. And the 26th of August is the day when your physical reality finally catches up to what heaven has already established. That's why lately everything feels charged, almost electric. That's why time seems to be racing ahead. Why people are suddenly disappearing from your life without explanation. Why old habits feel suffocating. Why your patience for confusion or delay has completely run out. Your frequency has shifted. Your soul has acclimated to a higher altitude, like an eagle soaring where the air is thin and only the strong can breathe. You can't inhale the stale atmosphere of your old life anymore. Your rise requires a different climate, one filled with clarity, purity, and divine oxygen. Don't be startled when things begin to move quickly. Luke 12:40 reminds us, you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. In the same way, opportunities will arrive faster than you anticipate. Don't be shocked if a door you thought had closed forever swings open with fresh momentum. Don't question it when someone appears out of nowhere to bless you in ways you didn't ask for. These are not coincidences, they are markers of your rising. Signposts confirming the shift in your destiny. Think of how Viola Davis went from years of overlooked talent to becoming one of the most celebrated actors in the world almost overnight. When the shift happens, recognition follows at a pace that can take your breath away. The acceleration will demand your focus. You'll discover you no longer have the energy for meaningless distractions or empty conversations. You'll crave clarity like water, peace like shelter, and divine alignment like air, because your soul knows it's time. Philippians 3:13-14 echoes this truth. Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize. You are stepping into days of divine return, not just the return of lost time, but the restoration of stolen ideas, the reclamation of your true identity. Yet it will not unfold the way you expect. God's returns rarely arrive wrapped in the packaging we imagine. They will come clothed in new paths you never considered, in relationships with people you've never met, in offers so radical they challenge your sense of what's possible, and in roads that feel unfamiliar but carry the fragrance of destiny. When you rise, you don't circle back. You break past the boundaries and go beyond. This is not about reclaiming what slipped through your fingers. It's about receiving what was always destined for your hands, but could not reach you until you became ready to hold it. Just as Jeff Bezos quietly built Amazon in a garage before it became a global empire, your unseen preparation is now pulling the right opportunities directly into your orbit. You are no longer chasing, you are attracting. You're no longer exhausting yourself trying to prove you belong. You're walking in the undeniable proof that you were born for this. Proverbs 13:22 says, "The wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. The blessings meant for you have been stored, protected, and timed to arrive exactly when your spirit could steward them well. And now, chosen one, your spirit and your season are finally in sync. The magnetism you carry will draw what you need without strain, because heaven has already stamped this moment with your name. And when it happens, like Ruth finding herself in Boaz's field without planning it, you'll realize you didn't stumble into favor. You were guided there all along. You will see that every delay was divine choreography. Every exit was sacred clearing, and every empty place in your life was a seat reserved for what's about to enter. This is not the moment you chase. This is the moment everything you've prayed for starts chasing you. Chosen one. The 26th of August is not just another date. It is your public announcement. In the spirit. Can you hear it? It's like sirens echoing across eternity, signaling your elevation. Have you felt that stirring inside? That unshakable sense that something's about to break open? You may have felt hidden for a long time, as if life had pressed a pause button on your visibility. But heaven has been staging a grand unveiling just for you. Your story is about to step out from the shadows. Your work, the seeds you planted in obscurity, is about to be recognized. Your face is about to be remembered in rooms where it once went unnoticed. Do you realize now why you could never quite fit in before? It's because you were never designed to be background noise. You were created to be a lead voice. But that voice had to be forged in private battles before it could carry weight in public spaces. Luke 12:3 assures us, "What you have said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, and what you have whispered in the ear will be proclaimed from the roofs." The hidden years were never wasted. They were the birthplace of your influence. Now, the reward is coming into view. Will you let the absence of applause slow you down? Will you waste energy on who isn't cheering? Don't. Don't be distracted by those who don't understand your rise. Their silence is not a signal for you to stop, because your promotion was never contingent on their validation. You were chosen long before they ever saw you. Heaven is not holding a vote on whether you deserve this. Your name has already been called, and you've already been approved. This is not charity, it is prophecy fulfilled. Think of how Nelson Mandela emerged from decades of imprisonment, not to request a chance, but to fulfill the destiny history had been anticipating. In the same way, are you ready to step into what was always yours? Your steps will begin to make sense now. Can you look back and see how the delays that once felt cruel are now revealing themselves as divine designs? The moments that once brought tears will now give you wisdom. Every piece, the pain, the silence, the patience, the waiting will be woven into the fabric of your glory. Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. Do you believe it now? Chosen one, your rise is not random. It's been engineered, timed, and tailored for this exact moment in history. You are standing in the doorway of destiny, and once you cross it, will you dare never to shrink again? Will you refuse to apologize for the brightness of your light? The vibration of your life has shifted. The spiritual gate is open. You're not just catching a glimpse this time, you're stepping into possession. You won't just see it, you will hold it, live it, carry it, and walk in it. This is not merely about a moment, it's about becoming. Who is the version of you that has been hiding under the noise, the fear, the pressure, and the pain? And now that the fog is lifting, are you ready to see your true reflection? Not the one shaped by survival, but the one sculpted by calling, not the one worn down by doubt, but the one refined in silence for this very hour. Esther 4:14 says, "Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" That's exactly where you stand in a life your past self didn't even have the language to describe. Can you imagine living in a season where peace isn't fragile, where access is normal, where overflow is constant, and where being chosen is not a burden, but the master key to every locked door? The confusion about your worth has ended both from the outside world and from within yourself. Will you ever again minimize your gifts or second-guess your place? No. The days of that smallness are over. This rise will quiet self-doubt, not because you've suddenly become flawless, but because you've become aligned. You are no longer begging to be noticed. You're walking into rooms where your arrival has been anticipated. The doors will not simply open, they will swing wide in honor of who you have become. Just as Serena Williams entered championship arenas knowing she belonged, will you walk into your new spaces with the same confidence? The atmosphere around you has shifted. Do you feel it? It is no longer heavy with waiting. It is charged with birthing. Things are accelerating now, not because you're rushing, but because you have matured into readiness. Isaías 60:22 declares, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." Can you trust that the delay was never denial? It was development. Heaven was ensuring you would not fumble what's about to be placed in your hands. You weren't being punished. You were being trusted with sacred timing. And now that the fullness of that time has arrived, will you step into it without hesitation, knowing deep down this was always your hour? Chosen one. Watch closely now, because the confirmations are going to start coming as fast as your name is rising. Have you noticed the shift in the conversations around you? Suddenly, topics are bending in your direction. Decisions are being made with you in mind. And rooms that once overlooked you are now rearranging themselves to include you. Doors that were firmly locked are not only opening, they're being held open. As if heaven itself has stationed angels at the threshold to make sure you walk through without resistance. Systems that once ignored your voice are now echoing it back with weight. You're not just being added to the room, You're being sent into arenas where your presence changes the very air, and this time, you're not showing up to ask for inclusion. You are the inclusion. You are the shift. You are the arrival. You are the long-awaited answer to prayers. People have been praying in those spaces without even knowing your name. Do you feel it yet? That strange, deep peace settling into your spirit. Not a fragile peace that depends on circumstances. Not a temporary calm that evaporates the moment something goes wrong. No. This is a peace rooted in knowing that this time you won't have to fight to keep it. Knowing that the door you've walked through will not be slammed shut behind you. Knowing that you won't have to water yourself down, compromise your truth, or contort your calling to stay in the place God has sent you. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." That's the kind of peace taking root inside you now. This rise is not arriving in scattered fragments for you to piece together. It is being poured out in fullness. Like a flood you can no longer contain, and when fullness comes, it eliminates the need to prove anything to anyone. Can you sense that divine boldness stirring within you? This isn't arrogance. It's not pride. It's a grounded boldness that comes from having endured hell and realizing heaven still chose you. That's a different kind of strength. It's the strength of one who knows they've been carried by grace when their own strength failed. It's the resilience of one who has walked through fire yet did not burn. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in Daniel 3:27, whose clothes didn't even smell of smoke. It's the quiet defiance of one who has bled in silence but still stood tall in the storm. This rise won't erase what you went through. It will redeem it. Everything that almost broke you will now be turned into the very platform that launches you. Do you understand what that means? You won't have to explain yourself anymore. You won't need to justify why you belong in the room. The evidence will speak. The oil on your life will speak. The results will speak, like Oprah Winfrey's journey from rural poverty and career rejection to building a media empire that speaks for itself. Your presence will become its own explanation. And this elevation is not about impressing anyone, it's about fulfilling something ancient. Something written into your DNA before the foundation of the world. Jeremiah 1:5 reminds you, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That blueprint is unlocking now. It's unfolding in your hands, resonating in your voice, and directing your steps. Have you noticed how everything you touch is beginning to shift? It's because your energy is no longer ordinary. It's prophetic. It's anointed. It's activated. You're no longer at the mercy of external systems that once had the power to say yes or no to you. The rise you're stepping into will make you your own ecosystem, self-sustaining, divinely resourced, unstoppable. You won't need to depend on the same structures that rejected you before. You're being funded by divine sources, elevated by invisible hands, ushered into a realm where connections flow naturally. Support is constant, and clarity is your daily portion. Psalm 23:5 declares, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." That's your reality now. Overflow without strain. The hustle is over. The alignment has begun. This rise is not about working harder. It's about walking deeper into the truth of who you are. And yes, people will ask, "How did you do it?" But your answer won't be a neat business strategy or a checklist of steps. It will be your testimony, your journey, your scars and your victories. You'll be living proof that the impossible still happens. that miracles still walk among us. That being chosen by God doesn't exempt you from pain, but it guarantees you'll rise from it with power. That's what makes your rise different. It's not born of privilege, it's born of process. Like Nelson Mandela emerging from Robben Island to lead a nation, like Bethany Hamilton returning to competitive surfing after losing her arm to a shark attack, your story will carry the weight of perseverance. There's a shift in your voice now. Can you feel it when you speak? There's authority in it. There's grace in your movement. There's alignment in your decisions. You're not entertaining confusion anymore. You're not dabbling in doubt. You are anchored. You are rooted. You are rising. And this is not fleeting. This is not a spiritual high that fades in a few days. This is permanent. It's a generational pivot. Your lineage is shifting because you chose to obey when it would have been easier to quit. Your household is rising because you stayed when others walked away. Your legacy is being built because you refused to fold under pressure. Joshua 1:9 reminds you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. You're walking in proof that surrender doesn't mean weakness, it means wisdom. Trusting divine timing has not slowed you down, it has accelerated everything. Believing in what you could not yet see has been the boldest act of faith you could ever commit, and now, the reward is unfolding before your eyes. You will taste the fruit of your belief. You will stand in the manifestation of what you once prayed for, cried for, fought for, and believed for. And in that moment, you'll see that every tear watered the ground for this harvest. Every lonely night prepared the soil for this season. Every not yet was God's way of saying, I'm building something bigger. And chosen one. The weight of this rise is not ordinary, it is holy. It is sacred. It is the kind of weight that doesn't crush you, but crowns you. You don't have to pretend to feel confident when this shift arrives. The confidence will already live in your bones. You won't need to mimic anyone else's voice, because the sound that will rise from you is the one heaven wrote for you before the beginning of time. This rise isn't about finding a way to blend in, it's about being set apart. It's about becoming unmissable, undeniable, and unstoppable in the exact form God designed for you. No more shrinking to make others comfortable. No more hiding so you won't be misunderstood. No more silencing yourself just to fit into rooms you've outgrown. Your rise has begun, and there is no going back. Let this truth settle deep into your spirit. What is rising now is not merely your status, influence, or recognition. It is the frequency of your entire existence. And when your frequency shifts, everything connected to you must shift in response. Just as a new song changes the atmosphere in a room, your divine elevation is releasing a sound in the spirit that is rearranging circumstances in your favor. People will feel the change before they can even put words to it. Spaces will bend to make room for your presence. Conversations will pause when you enter. The very air around you will carry a prophetic charge, shaking old limitations off you like dust from a long journey. You are no longer a guest in the realm of power. You are the host. You set the tone now. The shift that begins on the 26th of August will not be something you need to announce. You won't need to force it or perform it. You won't have to write a press release or post a declaration on social media. The light in your eyes will say it without a word. The stillness in your spirit, that quiet, anchored knowing, will whisper it. And the momentum in your life will scream it for all to hear. Isaiah 60:5 says, Then you will look and be radiant. Your heart will throb and swell with joy. That's the glow that will rest on you. Everything that was once delayed will now start racing to catch up. not because you chased it down, but because you became magnetic to it. This is the rise that doesn't ask questions. This is the rise that makes declarations. It says, I am here now. I am ready now. I have fully arrived. And yet, this rise is not just about what you're stepping into, it's equally about what you're stepping out of. You're exiting cycles of stagnation, cycles that have kept you circling the same mountains, conversations, and disappointments. You're stepping out of relationships that were built for an old version of you. Relationships that can't comprehend or carry the magnitude of your calling. Now, you're leaving behind environments that are too small to stretch with you. Atmospheres that choke instead of challenge. Spaces that can't hold the weight of what God is doing in you. This rise will cause a collapse not of you, but of everything that tried to cage you, like the walls of Jericho falling at the sound of the trumpet. Joshua 6:20. The old boundaries will crumble. The expectations that once hemmed you in will dissolve. The labels that others tried to stick on you will no longer fit. They will slide off because they have no hold on the person you've become. You are becoming unboxed, uncontained, and unapologetically elevated. Just as a butterfly can never return to being a caterpillar, you cannot return to the smaller form of yourself that once lived for survival. Yes, there will be a cost. Every elevation has one. Not everyone will come with you into this new dimension. Not everyone will clap when you rise. Some will be silent, others confused, and a few might even resist. But hear me, their reaction is not your assignment. You were never called to be universally understood. You were called to become exactly what heaven authored. And becoming often requires shedding. It's not about being cold or hard-hearted. It's about being clear. Clarity will show you who is aligned for where you're going, and who was only aligned for where you've been. This shedding is not an act of rejection, it is an act of release. You're not cutting people off to prove a point. You're allowing destiny to realign your circle so that what no longer resonates can fall away. Amos 3. 3 asks, do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? Alignment in this new season requires that everyone walking with you is in agreement with where you're headed. If they can't breathe the air at your new altitude, you can't carry them there without both of you suffocating. When you walk in full alignment, the loneliness you once feared begins to transform into something different. It becomes space, sacred space. Space for legacy to be built without distraction. Space for overflow, to flow without blockage. Space for divine relationships to find you. Relationships that aren't intimidated by your light, that don't compete with your calling, and that can meet you at the size you are becoming. Think of Ruth meeting Boaz. It happened after she left everything familiar behind, after she stepped into a new field, and after she aligned her life with the instructions God had placed before her. And here's the truth. This new version of you has been a long time coming. Every season of silence, every hidden battle, every unanswered question has been shaping the person who is now emerging. You have been refined like gold in fire. And now, as the heat turns to light, that gold will be seen, valued, and used for its true purpose. No more shrinking to fit into spaces too small for your wings. No more silencing your voice to make others comfortable. No more pretending you don't know what you carry. So, chosen one, are you ready to accept that the cost of rising is worth paying? Are you ready to trust that what you are losing was never meant to survive at this altitude? Are you ready to walk into the 26th of August, not wondering if it's your time, but knowing it is? Because this is the moment where you stop auditioning for rooms and start hosting them. This is the moment where your presence doesn't just participate, it presides. And as you step into it, the truth will resonate in every fiber of your being. You were never just meant to live, you were meant to lead. You were never just meant to survive, you were meant to shift atmospheres. You were never just meant to exist quietly in the background, you were meant to be a living, breathing demonstration of what happens when someone refuses to quit on God's process. Chosen one. The weight of glory you are now stepping into demands a sharper, higher, and purer kind of focus than anything you've ever walked in before. Can you feel it already? The same things that used to distract you, do they still have power over your attention? The same petty arguments that once baited you into wasting time, do they even appeal to you now? Why? Because you can finally see them for what they are. Tests. Subtle. Strategic. Spiritual tests to see if you are truly ready to inhabit the rise you prayed for, fasted for, and wept for. And tell me, will you pass this time? You will not because you're flawless, but because you're clear, because you've cried enough to know what peace feels like, because you've fought long enough to know the value of rest, because you've waited long enough to respect the sudden movement of God when it comes. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Do you now understand that stillness isn't weakness, but power? Your instincts are sharper now, aren't they? The days of second-guessing your discernment, are they behind you when your spirit senses something is off? Will you linger out of guilt, or will you step away quickly, knowing your assignment is too valuable to risk, not because you're afraid, but because you're operating in higher territory? How much more sacred has your time become lately? How much more precious does your energy feel in your hands? That's not arrogance, that's alignment. That's what rising does. It cleanses you from the inside out, like gold refined in the fire. Zechariah 13:9. Are you ready to embrace the purity that comes after the heat? You are rising into a life where hustling for attention will no longer be necessary. Can you picture yourself speaking and people leaning in? Not because you're louder, but because your vibration is stronger. You are carrying something now that can't be taught, can't be copied, can't be faked. Do you realize it was transferred to you through every stage of your process? That's why this rise will last, because it's not manufactured. It's forged, like Jacob wrestling with the angel in Genesis 32-26. Haven't you wrestled long enough for this blessing? And now that it's here, will you hold it with gratitude instead of fear? Expect sudden invitations. Are you ready for them? Expect doors to open without you even knocking. Will you walk through without hesitation? Expect divine timing that feels surreal. Will you trust it when it doesn't make logical sense? Because when your rise is activated, time bends in your favor. Can you believe that you'll meet the right person in the right place at the exact right second? That a connection once impossible will suddenly become effortless? That you'll enter spaces you never applied for and receive what you never chased? Why? Because grace was always assigned to find you. Proverbs 18:16 says, "A gift opens the way and ushers the giver into the presence of the great." If your gift is opening the way now, will you step through boldly? And let me say this clearly, will you promise not to water yourself down to make others comfortable? Will you refuse to dim your light just to ease someone's insecurity? That's not your job. Your job is to shine boldly, consistently, unapologetically. Can you believe that every time you stand in your fullness, you give others silent permission to rise too? Matthew 5:14-16 says, "You are the light of the world. Let your light shine before others." Will you let that light blaze without apology? Do you realize your presence liberates, that your energy opens pathways, that your very existence is a living prophecy? And can you see now that your rise was never just for you, It's for the ones watching, the ones doubting, the ones waiting to see if the wait is worth it. Who might be set free when they see you refuse to quit? Who might believe again when they watch you step into what you prayed for? Think of Malala Yousafzai, what if she had stayed silent? Think of Tyler Perry, what if he had given up during homelessness? Think of Mother Teresa, what if she had hidden her calling? What about you? Chosen one, will you shrink back or will you rise? This is why distractions no longer hold power over you. Isn't it clear why gossip feels empty now? Why shallow approval doesn't excite you anymore? You've tasted something deeper. You've seen something eternal. And once you've seen it, can you ever go back? Are you ready to guard this rise like treasure? To protect your clarity from anything that tries to cloud it? To defend your peace from every counterfeit? Will you keep shining even if it makes others uncomfortable? Will you hold your ground when your light reveals the shadows in the room? This is why your instincts are razor sharp. Can you see how tests reveal themselves sooner now? Why you're more careful with your yes and more deliberate with your no. Every yes you give is an investment into your calling. Will you guard it like seed? Every no you speak is a defense of your destiny. Will you wield it with authority? And here's the truth. Once you rise to this level, will you ever go back, like the Israelites crossing the Red Sea? Exodus 14:21-22. Can you imagine returning to Egypt after freedom? No, the waters have closed behind you. That season is over. Will you walk forward, anchored, unshakable, unstoppable? So, chosen one, will you let this rise purify you instead of just promote you? Will you let it deepen you instead of just display you? Will you protect the peace you fought for, honor the clarity you bled for, and walk in the authority you were born for? Because this isn't just an upgrade, it's a sacred trust. And will you carry it well, knowing heaven is watching, chosen one? Don't shrink back from the magnitude of what's about to unfold. Can you truly grasp how big this is about to get? Don't flinch when the floodgates open, because this will not be a gentle stream. It will be a rushing current of blessing, opportunity, and divine positioning. And you, whether you realize it or not, have already been prepared for this. Every hidden season, every silent night, every slow day when you stared at the ceiling wondering, God, what are you doing? All of it was training ground. Those days weren't wasted. They were weight, lifting for the spirit, building muscles strong enough to carry what's coming. You weren't just being prepared for the blessing itself, but for the weight that comes with it. Isaiah 60:20 says, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And chosen one, that time is right now, because this rise won't just change your life, it will echo through your bloodline. What breaks open for you on the 26th of August will shift your lineage. It will redefine your family name. It will restructure your financial ecosystem. It will elevate your spiritual reputation. It will establish a legacy that will outlive you. Have you considered that the very prayers your grandparents whispered are about to be answered through you? That the ceiling you once hit will become the floor for the next generation? This is how generational curses turn into generational blessings. The climb here was steep, wasn't it? The valley was deep, darker than you ever imagined. And at times you questioned if you would make it out. But now, look at the view. It's wide. It's clear. It's higher than you dreamed. And you're not just coming into a season of power, you're stepping into a season of perspective. Can you see it now? Why the pain was necessary, why the timing had to be divine, why the silence wasn't punishment but protection, why the loneliness was not abandonment but holiness. Every season that once confused you now unveils its purpose. You were being taught something no book could teach, no mentor could hand you, how to carry greatness without letting it crush you, how to remain rooted when storms try to uproot you, how to keep your heart soft even while standing in fire, how to rise with grace instead of ego. Think of Nelson Mandela. Decades in prison didn't make him bitter, they made him wise, prepared for the leadership mantle. In the same way, your process was never about breaking you, it was about building you. And here is the beauty: you will not rise with bitterness in your heart. Can you imagine stepping into the spotlight without a trace of revenge? You will speak with compassion, even about those who doubted or hurt you. You will not step into this moment with vengeance, you will enter it with vision. Because the pain didn't poison you, it purified you. Zechariah 13:9 says, "I will refine them like silver and test them like gold." You've been through the refining, and now you carry a shine the world can't dull. That's what makes this rise different. It's clean, it's authentic, it's long-lasting. This is not a performance, it is presence. When you enter a room, people will feel the shift before they see it. When you speak, the weight of your words will carry an authority born from experience, not theory. You are stepping into the version of yourself you always knew was inside, but perhaps feared to fully embrace. Do you remember all those times you thought, maybe I'm too much, or maybe I'm not ready? Those thoughts have no place here. Not anymore. The fears are gone. The chains are broken. The weight is lifted. And now, chosen one, you are not just experiencing the rise, you are becoming the rise. Your very being is the evidence of God's promise fulfilled. You don't simply walk into this next chapter, you embody it. You are the open door for others. You are the proof that obedience works. You are the answer to someone else's question. Is it worth it to wait on God? So, are you ready to carry this with joy instead of fear? Are you ready to stand tall in this new atmosphere without apologizing for your growth? Are you ready to let your story be a lighthouse for those still in the storm? Because the 26th of August is not just a date on the calendar, it's a divine unveiling. And when it happens, you'll finally understand. Every tear, every trial, every test was shaping you for this moment. This is not the beginning of your rise. This is the moment you realize you are the rise. Chosen one. Understand this. The weight of your rise is far greater than a fleeting moment of applause. This isn't just a quick celebration to post about and move on from. It is a full recalibration of your entire reality. Once you cross that invisible spiritual threshold on the 26th of August, you won't just feel a quiet shift inside your soul. You will notice it radiating into your environment. Your surroundings will start stretching, rearranging, and making space to accommodate the expansion happening within you. Have you ever seen a seedling break through the soil? The earth literally has to move to let it through. That's what's happening now. Your life is making room for the size of your calling, and with that expansion comes change. Some people around you will rise with you sharpened, inspired, elevated by proximity. Others will quietly exit, not out of malice, but because your frequency no longer matches theirs, and you must accept that. Everything attached to the former version of you will naturally start to fall away. This is not rejection, it is spiritual precision. Just as a surgeon removes only what no longer serves the body, heaven is removing what no longer serves your destiny. The room of your life is being cleared, so the rise can fill every inch without obstruction. There are things you've had to live without for years, not because God was withholding them, but because the you back then didn't yet carry the weight of the anointing you walk in now. If you had been given them too soon, they would have crushed you. But now you do carry that weight. Now you can steward the blessing without losing yourself. This is why what once felt delayed will now come to you without resistance. The relationships that once broke your heart or left you confused will be replaced by divine partnerships that multiply your purpose. The doors that once slammed in your face will become irrelevant, because you'll no longer need them to open. Why? Because, chosen one, you've become the door. You have become the vessel through which new paths are being opened, not just for yourself, but for others who will walk after you. This is the kind of rise that doesn't just change one area of your life, it touches everything. It reaches into your finances, your visibility, your authority. It shapes your ability to influence, to lead, to speak, to shift a room simply by walking into it. You are about to enter a season of presence over permission. No more waiting for someone else to validate your calling before you move. No more asking for approval to be who you already are. When you step into the room, you won't need to explain why you belong. The atmosphere will recognize it and adjust accordingly. Heaven is not sending you in quietly this time. Heaven is sending you in with confirmation. The way you carry yourself will testify. The way circumstances align will testify. The way provision arrives exactly when needed will testify. You now carry a vibration that makes room for you without you having to announce it. It will be felt deeply, unmistakably by everyone in your presence. Proverbs 18:16 says, "A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men." Chosen one, your gift has matured. Your oil has been refined, and the room is ready. Chosen one, for years you've been quietly doing the inner work while the world barely noticed. You've been in the background, not because you lacked worth, but because God was fortifying you in a hidden place. You fought battles that would have destroyed others, and you fought them silently. No public applause, no cheering crowd, yet you stood tall. Even when the ground beneath you felt like it was breaking, you made moves in faith when there was no visible evidence they would work. You chose obedience over optics, conviction over convenience. And now, heaven has decided it is time to reward you publicly for what you endured privately. But here's the part that will take your breath away. This rise won't simply validate you, it will shock you. It won't arrive through the front doors you've been watching. It will slip in through unexpected back doors, orchestrated by hands you never saw coming. It will come through strangers who carry keys to your next level, through sudden shifts in atmosphere that push you into alignment, through last-minute redirections that seem inconvenient at first, but lead you straight to the place you were meant to be all along. Isaiah 55:8 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways." This rise is not coming the way you expect, because heaven's methods are always higher. What the world calls coincidence is actually divine engineering. Every meeting, every delay, every sudden pivot is a gear in the machinery of your destiny. So, get ready, not just to receive blessing, but to manage abundance. Get ready to steward something greater than yourself. You're not merely being blessed for personal comfort. You're being built into a blessing that others can stand upon. Your life will become a structure strong enough for others to lean on when their storms hit. Your story will become a foundation that others will walk on toward their own breakthroughs. This influence you're stepping into is the kind that cannot be bought, replicated, or stolen. It's not the kind of influence that burns bright for a season and fades with trends. It's timeless. It's not for show, it's for substance. Your rise will not be mere entertainment to inspire a passing moment. It will be divine evidence that God still writes impossible stories. Think of someone like Rosa Parks. Her single act of courage was not flashy, but it shifted the course of history. In the same way, your obedience and endurance are creating ripples far beyond what you can see now. And watch, people will start responding to you differently, not because you've altered your personality or reinvented your image, but because your aura has changed. You no longer carry the silent plea for approval in your energy. There is now a clarity, a focus, a grounded authority in your presence. Confusion no longer clings to you, because your spirit has been recalibrated to attract only those who are sent. This is one of the most important shifts of your rise. You will stop drawing people tied to your past and start drawing people tied to your future. Those who are sent will know you instantly, not by your resume, your title, or your accomplishments, but by the essence of who you are. They'll recognize the fire in your eyes, the unshakable weight in your words, the unforced grace in your walk. They will sense that you've been in the presence of God, that you've carried battles others couldn't survive, and that you've come through refined. Proverbs 22:29 says, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank." That is the level you're stepping into now, the rooms where your very presence shifts the atmosphere. This is what happens when you rise in alignment. Heaven doesn't just lift you, it surrounds you with the right people, the right opportunities, and the right resources at the right time. It strips away the noise, the counterfeit, the distractions, so the true assignment can come into focus. And in that clarity, you'll realize something profound. Your rise was never just about you. It was always about positioning you as a lighthouse for others still lost in the dark. So, chosen one, are you ready for people to see you and know immediately that one is sent? Are you ready for opportunities to chase you because your alignment has made you magnetic? Are you ready to carry influence that outlasts seasons and outlives trends? Because what's coming next isn't just visibility, it's legacy, and legacy is never accidental. Beloved, the 26th of August is not just your day, it is your gateway. It's the divine threshold where the narrow, rugged trail you've been faithfully walking suddenly meets the wide, open road that leads to everything God has promised you. It's the moment where the long journey of faith collides with the reality of fulfillment. From that point forward, nothing, absolutely nothing will be the same. I want you to understand something deeply. This is not just about a date on the calendar. This is not a random number you circle in hope. This is a prophetic appointment, a divinely scheduled meeting between your preparation and your promise. It's the day when all the hidden work of God in your life becomes visible. It's the moment when the prayers you thought had been delayed rise up like a tide and meet you where you stand. Can you imagine standing there, feeling the weight of years lift from your shoulders, knowing without a shadow of a doubt, this is it, this is what it was all for? From the 26th of August forward, your life will not be measured by what you've endured, but by what you carry. The wilderness will no longer define you. The fruit of the promised land will. The waiting room will be behind you. The open door will be ahead, and you will step through, not as the same person who entered this season years ago, but as someone refined, strengthened, and transformed by the very process you once wanted to escape. And beloved, here's the thing, when this happens, it won't just impact you. This is the kind of breakthrough that shakes everything connected to you. Your family will feel it. Your friends will see it. Even those who doubted you will have to acknowledge it. Why? Because when God moves at this level, The blessing is never just for one person, it's meant to overflow. Psalm 23:5 says, "My cup overflows." That overflow isn't just for you to enjoy, it's for those who drink from your influence. Your generosity, your wisdom, your faith. God is blessing you to become a blessing, not to build a trophy case, but to build a table where others can sit and be nourished. Think about Joseph. His rise from prison to palace wasn't just about vindicating his name, it was about positioning him to feed nations during famine. In the same way, what's about to open for you is bigger than you. The increase in your life will be a covering for others. The opportunities coming to you will make room for others to step into theirs. The doors that swing open for you will become gateways for others to pass through. This is why the weight of the 26th of August is so holy. It's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of an entirely new chapter. And when you cross that threshold, the work doesn't stop. The rise doesn't end at the moment of breakthrough. It's sustained by how you steward what's been given to you. That means keeping your heart soft when the spotlight turns toward you. It means staying humble when success could easily make you proud. It means remembering that the source of every blessing is not your hustle, not your connections, but your obedience to God. 1 Peter 5-6 reminds us, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time." This is your due time, but it's also your call to deeper stewardship. I want you to remember something important. Every season you've walked through, even the ones you thought were pointless or painful, has been necessary. The broken pieces became the mosaic of your strength. The disappointments carved out capacity in you to hold more. The delays taught you that divine timing is always better than rushing. The loneliness gave you space to hear God's voice without interference. And the silence? The silence was never God ignoring you. It was Him building something you weren't ready to see yet. Romans 8:8 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." That includes the tears, the detours, the closed doors, and the seasons you didn't understand. As we move closer to the 26th of August, keep your spirit expectant. Guard your heart from fear, because fear will try to talk you out of what you've been promised. Don't let weariness convince you it's too late. And absolutely do not let the voice of the past tell you that you're not ready. You are ready. You are prepared. You are chosen. And when heaven calls you forward, you don't ask permission, you move. Now, I want to pause here and speak directly to your heart. Thank you. Truly. From the depths of my soul, thank you. Thank you for walking this journey with me, for listening, for allowing these words to speak into your life. Whether you've been here since the beginning or you just found this community recently, your presence here matters. You are the reason I pour out these messages, the reason I keep showing up. This isn't just content. This is a conversation between people who believe in rising, even when the odds are stacked against them. If these messages have blessed you, and if you feel led to support what we're doing, I invite you to consider donating through the Super Thanks feature here on YouTube. It's never an expectation, but it is always a blessing. Your generosity allows us to reach more people, create more resources, and continue spreading this word of hope and calling. But let me make this clear, whether you donate or not, my gratitude for you does not change. Your presence, your attention, your prayers, these are treasures I don't take lightly. Just you being here is a gift to me. As we close, I want to speak blessings over you. I bless your mind with peace that passes all understanding. So no anxiety will steal your focus. I bless your spirit with strength, so you will run and not grow weary, walk and not faint. I bless your steps with favor, so the right doors will swing open and the wrong ones will stay shut. I bless your mornings with joy and your nights with rest. And I declare that when the 26th of August arrives, you will step boldly into the gateway God has set before you without fear, without hesitation, and without apology. May your hands be ready to receive the abundance coming. May your heart be steady enough to carry it well. May your vision be sharp enough to steward it wisely. And may you always remember, this is not just your rise. It's your assignment. You are stepping into a season where heaven is cheering, earth is watching, and your name is already written in victory. Beloved, this is your time. This is your hour. This is your gateway. Step through it, and you will never look back the same way again.